Alright guys, hey, what's up? This is Kyle here to talk about, well, what you see in the title, and that is the NWO to reform Kevin Nash and CM Punk. The reason why I made the statement is because I think that Tuesday, or it was past Wednesday, or it was that Tuesday, Kevin Nash said on Twitter that he wants to bring back the NWO with CM Punk as the leader and, keep that world championship around his waist and the NWO hold hostage to the world title. Now, he said this on Twitter, and because of this, things are kind of going around like, is the NWO going to come back? Okay, I have two thoughts on this matter. Like I said, one, none of this is confirmed. It's just the thing that Kevin Nash says, that he says it's time for the NWO to return with CM Punk as the leader. So this isn't confirmed or anything like that. But it may be speculated, and it could possibly happen. And like I said again, I have my two thoughts on this. One, if you look back this past Monday night, when CM Punk beat John Cena, or just the entire night on Raw, what were the two colors that CM Punk wore with his in-ring attire? Black and white. The colors of what? The NWO. Okay. So, if the NWO should come back and reform with Nash and Punk and whoever else they may add, but let's just say mainly for right now, Kevin Nash as the mentor kind of like figure, and then CM Punk as the leader, it kind of wouldn't surprise me. Because, once again, like I said, if you look this past Monday night on Raw, you look at the two colors that was on CM Punk's ring attire, they were black and white, and he turned heel. Sometimes, a lot of things with WWE, a lot of the information is right in front of you, but you just don't pay attention to it. You have to pay attention to the detail. Otherwise, you'd miss it. So, that's a hint to me that may possibly be. Another thing, this is the year 2012, and everybody always has the thing of, 2012 is the end of the world, whatever. If you're going to play into if you're going to play into the 2012, it's the end of the world, phobia kind of like thing, then what perfect year or time for you to bring back the NWO, the New World Order? Bring them back this year, 2012. Now, I want to get my thoughts. If WWE decides to green light this, I love the NWO. The NWO are my favorite faction in the history of professional wrestling, then followed after by DX and Four Horsemen and etc. My thing is this: if they bring back the NWO, let this be it, and let it be just done with completely. Because even though the NWO was one of the greatest factions of all time, that is something that needs to die. The thought of the NWO, okay? And WCW, were as great as the NWO were, in WCW, they ran that to the ground, literally. First you had the black and white NWO, then you had the Wolfpack, which by that time a lot of people said it was dead and they should have killed it then. But I still found it a little bit interesting that we had the Wolfpack, and then they brought the Wolfpack and the white and black NWO, brought them together. Then after that, you had NWO 2000, so with the silver and black. So with the WCW, it really ran its course, which just really just killed that group, because everything in WCW just revolved around the NWO, and they just ran its course with that those first 2 years when it was really, really hot. They just ran it to the ground. And I want my last memories of the NWO when the Angle and when the group were in their prime. I want it to be ran down through the mud. And then secondly, also too, I've always had this philosophy when it comes to WWE: if Vince didn't make it, he will break it. Meaning, any idea whether it be a faction or a wrestler that Vince himself did not mold and make, he's not going to utilize that talent or that faction or whatever to its full extent and its potential. Okay? You go back and you look at people who came from WCW into the WWE, guys like Goldberg, Kevin Nash. Even though Kevin Nash got his big break through WWE and then went back to WCW, still, Goldberg, Kevin Nash, Scott Steiner, Booker T, he never gave them really big, huge breaks. He squashed them all. He had Triple H to squash every single one of them, and just make them just secondary, ordinary, insignificant wrestlers. And for anyone out there who's going to say, well, it was his opponent's company, they're not going to have, their competition come in and make it seem like they're as big as their own talent. I'm not saying you have to do that, but you don't have to squash them like a bug and make them seem so insignificant at the end of the day. Because back then, those same stars was kicking Vince's ass every Monday night for 2 years straight. So, with the exception of Booker T and Scott Steiner. But, you get what I'm saying. So using those guys for an example, I thought when he brought back the NWO in 2002, to me, I was excited that the NWO came in WWE, but to me it wasn't the same. Vince, to me, I thought he killed that a little bit. He tarnished that. And then, when Hogan and Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, when they left, they started putting guys like Shawn Michaels, Booker T, and, he teased Booker T, and then Big Show, putting Big Show in, and it's like, okay, yeah, Big Show was in the original NWO and WCW, but he wasn't the main focus in that faction. Okay, so he had all these people and stuff, and it's like, and he had Shawn Michaels, and it's like, just ruined it, just absolutely ruined it. So I always have this philosophy when it comes to Vince McMahon: if he didn't make it, he will break it. So these are my thoughts and suggestions about if the NWO may come back, and if they do, my thoughts on WWE. If they do bring the NWO back with CM Punk and then have Kevin Nash as some mentor-like figure, I think that this should be it. Once they start this faction, should they start it, let it be it and done with and over. And then also my concern about it is that, like I said, if Vince didn't make it, he will break it, and he would just probably demolish and screw this up as well, should they decide to reform the NWO. Personally, I don't think it would be a bad idea. Like I said, have CM Punk, and then have Kevin Nash, at least have somebody from that original faction to come in and be like a mentor-like figure. I would absolutely like that. So you guys give me your thoughts and your opinions on a possible reformation of the NWO with CM Punk and Kevin Nash, just to start out, and yeah. So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment box below. Subscribe. Peace.